And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Talk to Danielle podcast. I am your host, Danielle C. Baker, and today we're going to be talking to Promise Mangum. And sorry if I say that the wrong way. English is not my first
That's right.
language.
That's right. Most people say Mangum.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I was hoping it was going to come out right,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah, we're talking about this is great because I'm really happy to have Promise on because he has such high energy, and so I'm going to let him talk about what he does because he's just always high energy, and I love that, and I love the work that he does. So we'll go right into it. And for
Oh
those
yeah.
who are watching, just follow, subscribe, like, and that way you'll get access to all the other podcasts as well. So tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us about who you are and what you
Promise Mangum. Born and raised in Pensacola, Florida. Moved up here to Winston-Salem, North Carolina about 10 years ago. Work with young people with developmental disabilities. Worked with my current employer, and he had a idea of having young people with developmental disabilities and people who take care of them play on the same team.
do.
Actually participating, not unlike Special Olympics. And it was high energy, all that. That happened around 2017, 2018, 2019. Everything was cool. 2019, we really ramped it up really big. Had 8 basketball teams, 4 kickball teams, stuff like that. And we're going to do even bigger. And then COVID happened. So it was just kind of like, okay, everybody gets shut down because not only just because of the world, but also the population we take care of are more vulnerable. So long story short, it was just kind of like, hey, so what can we do with the Showcase Sports Syndicate, which is his company? And I was just like, I don't know. We're all on Zoom. Yo, go outside and see if you can shoot a basketball and make a go on Zoom, and let's see if it works. It worked. So it was like, hey, guess what? We're gonna call it bank shot, and people can still win prizes and stuff like that. And then yeah, bank shot was born in 2020, March 2020, and yeah, we've been rocking and rolling ever since. Knocking it out. We had kind of had to pivot a little bit from the original mission from young people with developmental disabilities playing each other virtually online because of the learning curve to hey, we need to find some ballers who can actually ball. Did that. Got the South by Southwest online. Actually did a production. There's a TV station down in Pensacola, Blab TV. We actually did a live broadcast from 7 different places in the world, and it was pretty awesome. We got to be with the Greensboro Swarm. That's a G League team for the Charlotte Hornets. Like we just been rocking and rolling, trying to do some stuff, and stuff just continues to morph. Once the world opened back up, people really understand, like, hey, why play virtually when we just go outside and play with people? And so, do we do that learning curve, or do we move on to something else? And even though we're still pushing for the hybrid type of basketball play, now we're in the esports. Yeah, whole
Wow.
spirit.
That's amazing. Actually, that's awesome, and it's I just love how you're so flexible, right? You didn't say no. This is our vision. This is what we're sticking to, and you just got creative, and that's what's amazing about it. I did want to ask you because you didn't mention how Bank Shots got started and the vision that you had for it, but how was it received in the community? How was and I mean, not the extended community because you're kind of all over the place now.
Definitely. So biggest thing, coming to basketball, when you're talking about hardcore basketball players that may not make it in the NBA, may not be on the semi-pro team, may be on the semi-pro team, maybe be injured and stuff like that, and maybe can't play a higher caliber like they want to or once used to or whatever. Receive well. There was still a learning curve that had to happen. It's like, hey, it's kind of like Zoom, but you set the camera up and you play. We can still referee and stuff like that. So that was one of the challenges. But hardcore basketball players actually did it. Like I said, we first started off with college students, because college was still kind of sort of shut down. So we started off with them, but we kind of quickly found out that they're still, worried about school unless you're a hardcore basketball player. And you have to also realize this is the year before the NIL laws came to fruition, because we were giving out money, it was at scholarships. It was still cash money. And we had to figure out, like, okay, well, if you're an actual basketball player at a HBCU, can you take these funds and stuff? Because, like I said, we were still in that right before the NIL laws happened. If you don't know what NIL is, naming and licensing, where students can actually get paid off of their name, image, or license. And it was just kind of a weird space. So then we went to, like I said, I was on Instagram, going door to door. Hey, you're a basketball player. You want to do this? No. Or it's like, yeah, that seems pretty interesting, and nobody show up or whatever. But I started getting the ball rolling. People started seeing it and understanding it a little bit more. And it actually turned out really well, especially with the one that we did in March for South by Southwest. We had 6 people show up, 2 from North Carolina, 1 from Maine, one from Boston, and 1 from Alabama, and 2 other people from Florida. So it was a really good experience. But keeping it going was still kind of like tough, especially like I said, because like around March, April 2021, slowly stuff started opening up, especially down in Florida. So it was just kind of like, hey, can we pivot, or should we still do what we're doing right now? So that's how that started, or that's how that happened.
There's a lot happened in such a little short time. That actually leads me to my next question, because I know when we started something new, we're all excited. We're like, we're going to change the world. We're going to change how people play and stuff like that. And then one of your massive obstacles was COVID, and then some changes. So can you share a little bit of some other obstacles that you had to face and kind of work around that?
Like I said, the biggest thing was there's a window of opportunity that happened during COVID. And like, since this came out of COVID, I don't know if people keep up with, trends and stuff like that, or business stuff. A lot of the companies that did really well during COVID aren't doing well right now, because, the world's open. And, goes back to what you're saying about being flexible. It's like, okay, cool. Well, not super a lot of money has been sunk into this, so we should be able to pivot. Not super, we don't have thousands or, hundreds of people who work, on this or whatever. We can actually pivot, fairly easy and continue to push. So that was one of the biggest obstacles right there. Secondly, learning curve. Getting to, like I said, hardcore basketball player, they may not know what Zoom is. It's just, it's fast. They if you're a hardcore basketball player, you're thinking about basketball. You're not thinking about the office stuff, nothing about back end stuff. Even if you're at work or whatever, you may not use Zoom. You may not use a video platform like this. With IG, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, when you go on live, it's usually one person, that person is going live or whatever. You might be able to have 2 people in there, but it's just like, it's still a big learning curve. And it's like, do we try to fight through that learning curve, or do we say, hey, let's move and pivot? So those are the biggest challenges right there that we had in the company. And like I said, now it's just like, um, those 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 obstacles became opportunities, because one thing that we did figure out, hey, if you're a hardcore basketball player, 90% of the time, if you're thinking about basketball, you're going to have a PS4, PS5, Xbox, and you'll be playing a basketball game, which is going to be 2K. And it
Yeah.
really built out, um, is I'm not a gamer, but the community, one thing I have to say is listen to your community, listen to what people are saying, or just take notice. Hey, we like to play basketball, okay, but we also like to play video games. Okay, cool. And what we found out is like a lot of people don't understand that like the NBA actually has a full-fledged league. Each player who plays in there guaranteed $35,000 for the season. Season only 4 months, and you're playing basketball. You're playing 2K, plus prize money. So it's like, okay, where's the connection for that? Where's the connection for that? Most people are like, okay, are we a competitive player? And it's like, no, we just play casually online. But yeah, and still they're putting up $300 for a game, $500 for a game, or whatever online. And it's like, we could probably get into that. So that's kind of sort of where that pivot transition came from as well. And once again, like I said, I know the question was whether obstacles, but I think the solution or the pivots that happened.
No, but that's good because it shows the thought process of somebody that sees an opportunity where a lot of people sees a setback. So that's good that you said that. I was going to ask you this a little bit later on, but we could go right into it. If you could talk about esport, because that is a big thing that's going on with what you guys are doing. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So one of my good friends, Jefferson Dashy Gaming, what's up? He is he started his company, and he wants to open up an esports lounge, an esports arena here in Winston. And, I was like, okay, cool, that's great. And what happened was, while he was trying to figure that out and stuff, I was like, hey man, doing bank shot stuff, figuring out like, hey, everybody likes 2K or whatever. Let's just go to the community center and see if we can do a 2K night or whatever. Literally turned into, because me being a big idea person, turned into, hey, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it every other week for the next 3 months or whatever. And the city liked it, the kids liked it, and really built that out like that. So with that being, or with that happening or whatever, I was like, hey, can we just make this a league? A semi-pro league, at least. Now, the difference between just having a tournament versus a semi-pro league is the fact of the players in there, they get paid. Just like any other, whether you talk about NBA or whatever, I'm going to make sure that, if you're playing that night, you're going to have a base salary. Where's the money come from? Don't know yet, but whatever. Because I think the overall goal is to be legitimate, make sure that people understand, you have a path to get to that next level that you may not even know about. Back to, like I said, we're doing it for the teenagers, but I was just like, hey, dudes, my age, 38, or 25, I'm looking at that age of 25 to 38 or 40 or whatever, who are quote unquote still young, still out there on the courts or whatever, still play video games, to really show like, hey, we can actually do this and actually make a big push for this, versus how like I'm saying, like with other competitors, where it's like, hey, we're going to do esports, but we're going to keep it with high school. We're going to keep it with college folk or whatever, because we know that that's an easy path. Let's we got 25, 30, 35-year-olds or whatever who are out mad on the sticks. But they're mad on the sticks. They're also on the 2K league. So it's like can we shake that up? And that's my thinking on that. It's coming to that.
Yeah.
It's a real big deal when it comes to people forget. Like, okay, it's nice, it's a fresh new thing. Everybody needs to jump. When you get older, it's like, hey, wait a second, let's see how this plays out. And it's like one of those things where me really thinking about that is like,
yeah,
everyone's here in this teenage area or this, young adult area, but it's like we have a little bit more, older folk, like we have a little bit more, knowledge, like I know I can play. Okay, I can actually be on and feel comfortable, feel good, whatever. And nobody's going after that market. Maybe that's what we need. So that was my whole thinking on the esports stuff.
That's amazing. Yeah, and then you said it again. It's just finding that opportunity where a lot of people are not even looking at it. So that's amazing. And it does bring me to that you're kind of rolling it. It's awesome. This is really easy on me. But you often talk about working out the norm. And it has its advantages, working out of the norm, not following what everybody else does. And so you've talked about some of the advantage, but can you add to it? Like, what advantages are you seeing? What opportunities are opening up to you because you're thinking out the norm?
The biggest one, actually, it's two of them. First off, a lot of people on LinkedIn is a great tool, period. A lot of people don't understand LinkedIn. A lot of people who are like, yeah, LinkedIn, boom. LinkedIn is a great tool. Now, it's a great tool if you know how to use it, but it's also a great tool if you stumble upon stuff and you just keep reading a little bit. Just take your time, read a little bit more. Then you start finding out, you might be one off of a person here or one off of a person here or whatever the case is. And I found out when I was like, you know what, I think we're gonna go heavy on this esports stuff. Found 3, 4, 5 Black creators, not even creators, they are actually like part of the 2K league, or they have like esports stuff that's like, hey, we're doing this real big, and they're Black creators. And it's like, that is nothing that I've ever seen in this realm, because everybody talks about esports of, hey, we got these big flashy stuff and it's computers and all this type of stuff, not console play. That's one of the biggest things that came up, with LinkedIn. The second one is going after all these pitch competitions, going after all these F6 sets, I forgot, but like it's not necessarily a pitch competition. It's like, hey, you can get investment or whatever. All those no's, whatever. And then, like I said, this past, or not past, but in 2 weeks, a guy, yes, it was just like, hey, you want to come here? And even though it was Winston was a big convention. It's called Converge South, and he was like, "Yeah, come on, just be in the building and pitch idea, like, just keep going after that, like I said, because going back to what you're saying about being creative, applying for a creative competition, I was like, okay, everybody got this, I still got enough. It's like you be too out there or whatever, even though like all the these are the numbers, this is what this is, that's too much. We don't get it. And it's like, oh, okay. Just keep going, just keep, you're going to find eventually that one person's like, I'm gonna give you a chance. So that's what I gotta say about that, as far as like, continuing to build out and just, keeping going on your idea or vision.
Yeah, because and it's a good thing you brought up the pitch competitions. A lot of people don't think about it, but it is a great opportunity to put your business out there, to put your idea out there and get some funding. Like you said, you may get a lot of no's, but it gives you that practice, and you meet some people along the way. You may not win that competition, but you may make a contact that is going to be helpful later down the road. So it's a good thing that you mentioned.
And I definitely want to say shout out to the first pitch competition. Well, not the first one, but the one that really changed the trajectory of bank shot. Definitely Startups on the Block. Startups on the Block down there in Pensacola, Florida. Boy, love you, bro. Like, I ain't gonna say this a lot. Like, he was like, hey, promise. Like, just do it. Just do it. I think you have the charisma. I think you have the idea. It's just enough out there to where it's like, it's kind of far-fetched, but at the same time, me being passionate about it and showing like, well, these are the steps I'm trying to do. Like, doing that was like one of the best deals in the world. No, I'm not doing a whatever, but yeah, that one really the trajectory, because being out there in Florida, and moving back up here to North Carolina, where it's a bigger, part, but a lot of people is just like more in the tech. Even though we have a big community, about an hour and 15 minutes away down there in the Triangle, where UNC is, where Duke is, where NC State is. I'm over here where Wake Forest is, where NC State is, and A&T. So, and A&T. And then, like I said, about 20 minutes up the road, we have UNCG. They have an esports league now, or esports track, and High Point University esports track. So it's like North Carolina is like getting real big in esports or whatever. So it's just kind of like, okay, let's continue to move here, but still keep an eye on the hybrid play. So.
Yeah, I'm glad it's you. You mentioned Lloyd. I know we weren't going to talk about, but he's an amazing person. Like, he just opens up doors to people that you would never think you'd have that opportunity. And he's so passionate about it. He's just like, oh, we need to get people out there. There's ways to get business started, and he does so much for the community. So yeah, definitely a shout out. This is not planned. He doesn't know, but we're gonna do a shout out for him. That's right. Now, this show, one of the reasons why I do this show is a lot of it has to do with, talk about things that we wish we would have known earlier on in life, make our lives easier, and just to be raw and real about it. That you're always creating, you're always, talking to people, meeting people. How do you balance that with your personal life? You don't need to get personal about your life, but how do you find that balance between home life and this new venture?
Understanding what that's it. Like I said, I'm not here most of the time. Can't come back show like I really, 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 really want to. Work 40 hours a week during the week. Plus, on Friday and Saturday night, I work 12. So I work 7 days a week. 64 hours every week on a regular job. Then turn around and have to do family stuff and bank shot. Yeah. Someone had to take a hit. And right now it's just like bank shot's like, it's not on the back burner. Bank shot is very, like, we are, I'll say it like this, I'm making more strategic moves because I don't have the time like that, because balancing work and just a family life, I don't have the time to sit here and mess up on bank shots. So it's very strategic. Going back and I'll say this, going back to something else previous about what you're saying about just being out there. When I did the Hoops and Hip Hop Conference in May, didn't know it was going to work. I've never done a conference. I'm pretty much the only one who's putting it together. production team ain't no production team. It was like a couple, my boys. Uncle did the sound, and literally back on the Instagram. Yo, you want to perform? Hey, you want to do this? Hey, can you speak about this? And people just like, I like you. Yes, I like you. Yes, and it turned into a really big, nice collect. Fast forward, one of the dudes in there, he was with Put Up basketball tournament, big basketball tournament for FIBA. Hoop It Up. I was like, yeah, we're going to do the East First tournament, and it was like, and this is like after a big letdown from the city. I was trying to do a Juneteenth Classic. It was a basketball tournament. It didn't work out like horribly, and yeah, it was just like, okay. My homeboy hit me up because he was with Hoop It Up, and everything was, I was like, yeah, we'll come out there, bring a couple of PlayStations or whatever, and let the kids play around.
Yeah.
When I did the post, there's a company called XVX hit me up. I cannot tell you. I will say the name again. X versus X. Because I'm not going to sit here and name drop whose company it is. X versus X Sports. They hit me up and I was like, hey, we see you're doing stuff with Hoop It Up 3-on-3. Now, if you look those two up and you see who actually owns, controls them, you're going to see how big that means, or how big the people are who are actually running those two companies. And at me up was like, hey, we're trying to break into esports or whatever. I'm like, okay, like, I guess I'm doing enough to where people are taking notice. I don't really see it, but on the realm of basketball, it's a huge deal. And you're talking about people who are like, it's a big deal. Like the people who are there. So it's just like, it was one of those things where you got to kind of sort of be out there. And when people start recognizing stuff, when it connects you to something, and be like, yo, you can help me out doing this. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, let's get it working or whatever. So, it's a big deal about being out there, being in the right place, just showing up, just wherever you are, being online, and maybe making a statement on a post. LinkedIn. Once again, I gotta go back to that. LinkedIn is your friend. LinkedIn is your friend. If we're all business, LinkedIn is your friend. Just leave a comment. Maybe can't be too pushy, but it's just like, hey, enjoy your stuff, or whatever. You really have to just utilize those tools you have. Even if you're not extrovert, I think that's what if you're an introvert or whatever.
That's the one.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate you on this, and somebody's they're gonna like it. Something's gonna happen where it's like, oh, okay, cool. So
yeah. And you made a pivotal point there that first of all, LinkedIn, it's the same with me. It helped my business so much. But when you're out there all the time and you're going only by the likes and the engagements in your posts, you think that nothing's happening, but there's so many people that are watching you silently that you don't realize. And all of a sudden you get one of those messages and you're just like, what is this, a joke? Is this a fake account? Is this like, you're just like, no, this can't be real. But people are watching you, so just keep showing up, be consistent, keep showing up. That is amazing advice there, because it is a game changer. I do have a question for you, and I asked this, I didn't explain it to you, but I explain this almost in every interviews. Is a few years back, a little girl interviewed me for a school project, and she was asking all the adults a question that all adults ask children, but the adults weren't giving her the answer, so she would get frustrated. And I told her, when she asked me, I answered the question. She got all excited, so I promised her I would ask all the people I interview, and the question is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Influential, like, honestly, influential. I want to influential, like I want somebody, it's a personal story, and it actually happened, I want to say Saturday. There's I don't know if you know a lot of music stuff. I don't know, but there's a producer and Ninth Wonder. His name is Ninth Wonder. He's actually from big, big, big influential hip hop person. Done amazing things. Very quiet, soft spoken or whatever. And I was working my pizza, went over, next door, whatever, and never met this dude. A couple other people who I know was like, yeah, man, that's him, boom, boom, whatever. They just, whatever. But I've never met this dude. And walking there, and he's sitting there at a table, I guess friends, family, or whatever. And I'm just like, mouth drops. I'm like, oh my God, this dude. I'm a professor down there, like I said, over at NCCU, down there in Durham. And it was just kind of like, I go, get my drink, whatever. They come in, and then I was like, no, let me leave my drink for here, let me drink this real quick. And then I just went back over there and was like, I didn't say, like, hey man, boo. I was like, hey, can I just get a picture, man? Yeah, man, I'm here with my family, whatever. But it's like, yeah, we can just have to go outside real quick. Sat there, took a picture real quick, and it's just like that type of influence. Like nobody, like, they have a core fan, core like a real connection with folk like that. I want to have that. When I grow up, be like, oh man, this dude just, he was in Winston, he did this. Oh, he's in Pensacola, he did this. Wherever else, we might, be or whatever. He actually did this. Like, oh snap, this is awesome. Like, just be influential. Helping, people really, not even thinking outside, but just believe in themselves. Just be influential to people to believe in themselves. Like I can actually do that. My idea is valid enough to where I believe it, and I'm going to continue to pursue this. So.
And you were definitely heading that way where you just leave a positive.
But I'm never going to grow up.
Well, that's the thing. That's it. But, like, no. I never want to grow up.
I'm never going to grow up. So it's like, yeah.
That's right. I always say I'm a grown woman trapped in a child. I'm a child trapped in a grown woman's body. But yeah, you never want to grow up. That's why I love asking that question, because we get so many different answers. And whatever you say now may change 5 years from now. So it's awesome. Yeah. So I'll before we leave, I follow you on social media, so I get to see all the work that you do and the energy you put in there. But how can people contact you? How can people reach you if they want to know more about what you do?
All right, look, so, usually all the other stuff or whatever, and people say, check my IG. I'm gonna hit you first with this. Area code 850-398-0402. Again, it's area code 850-398-0402. If I don't pick up, send me a text. Yo, promise. This is such and such, and I found this podcast. We want to talk some business. Cool. Then everything else is Promise Mangum, PROMISEMANGUM on all social medias. Then for Bank Shot, it's ATM Bank Shot. ATM BANKSHOT. That's it. Like,
that's amazing. One of the bravest men I know to put his phone number out there. Out in the world. That's amazing. Yeah. And I'll put in the comments as well. I'll put your social media contact information.
I don't care. Like, hit me up. If people want to reach me, like, I have to be accessible. I have to be accessible. Like, why have this wall or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. You're doing amazing work, and it's nice to see how well it's moving forward. And it may not feel like it sometimes, but looking at it from the outside, it's beautiful to watch. And I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. And for everybody else, who don't be afraid. Keep the conversation going, and in comments what you think, and what you like from what Promise is doing for his work. And so just as an ending note, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay awesome, and we'll see you soon.
I know it. Peace.